Hello everyone, we got the Townscape Essentials Humble bundle. I've been meaning to make a video about this for almost a week now. Finally, here we are. At most you would get 52 items, each is a bundle in itself, totaling around 100 gigabytes. Most of the packs do contain the nanite and the low poly versions. That's one of the contributing factors to the size. These are made by Decor Studios. They are a well-known outsourcing studio. If you haven't heard of them, they made the props for games like Half-Life Alyx and many more, so you can expect their quality to be extremely high. The theme of the props are retro style, so 80s to 90s, and they're just props, so few to non-existing logic. This supports World Wildlife Fund. Now this bundle is divided into 3 price points, levels, tiers, whatever you would like to call. And at the very first one, which costs 5 USD, you get this these props, which is not a good value, but the cars are really good. For the 15 or the second tier, which actually makes sense for the price, this is the first for a humble bundle, which is 15 USD, you get 29 items. And at the full price that you would pay would be 25 USD, and you would get the whole 52 items. When you go on the page, it will default to 30 USD. Don't forget to change that and then adjust the donation amount to a custom and change it to whatever you would like, divided between the author, humble, and the charity support. The keys are redeemed on Epic Launcher and goes into your library. And there are 54 keys, so you have to redeem them 54 times. Instruction about how to redeem in another video of mine linked in the description. First is Vehicle Volume 1. This one contains both nanite and low poly. The first row is nanite. This is what we are viewing at the moment. You can see the detail and the quality of the texturing looks really nice. And most of the details, if you look at the wheels, are actual geometry. It's another motorcycle. It's missing a screw there. I think it's a minor error, but the headlight here, well, it's been modeled. The outside opacity is not, because, you know, nanite doesn't support translucency so far. You can see geometry there. Gold mini cart looks really nice. Mini tractor. You can see the details there, the chain, really high quality. And these are the low poly counterparts, still looks extremely good for what it is. You can see the wireframe for the nanite compared to the low poly. You can see the details are from normal maps, like the chains there and the wheels, but still they do look good. Collisions are not the best, of course, but it is there. And actually, as a practice, I was able to rig one of the motorcycles, the high poly version, inside the engine using the skeletal mesh editing tools, as you can see. So it's possible. It is kind of a pain for the high poly or the nanite version, because it is kind of slower in editing, but it is very possible, like what you're seeing here. I even write the buttons. So even though these are all static meshes, you can rig it yourself inside the engine or in another DCC if you're choosing that you're familiar with. So we can actually make great functional props out of these if you have the time. Forgot to weigh that one. As for the materials, this is for the nanite version. You got a lot of customizability, the base color, normal, and RMA as usual. And for some parts in the alpha channel of base color, you got the opacity. And for some or most of them, they do also provide the emissive map. Let's see, enable the emissive. You can see there is a emissive texture added at the top. and you can change the values because the material is very customizable. You can change the values to your liking. But for this specific model, I think there is something, or the opacity of the front and back lights are not that good. I did try to fiddle around with some of the settings, but I couldn't get it to a point that I would like. Of course, they would use opacity. Either way, the quality is really good with these. And this is just the first pack of the vehicles. And to be honest, I've been eyeing on the vehicle pack for quite some time, and finding them in this bundle really made my day. Looking at the UVs, this is for the nanite. You can see they are packed, and their UVs are really well packed. They are super dense, no wasted spaces. And for some reason, I can see that some or part of it is mirrored here, of the symmetrical part, but not all. This one is volume 3. Only the low poly versions are provided. And the same thing would go for the other volumes except for one, of course, beside the one that we've already seen. Details are really well, even though these are low poly. Details are there, the mirrors are reflective. The inside is actually very good, very nice quality, very good texturing, which is rare to see it in vehicles usually. The cars do use multiple materials, however, but still, the quality is just excellent. And to be honest, I really like retro cars. Veneer is very nice. This is like the static versions of it, that the functional parts like the tires and the doors are separated, so you can mix match them in blueprints, or you can just rig them. That's also another option. Either way, the separated static mesh versions are also provided. Go to this police car, and taxi, and these are kind of the same style, only with the the siren and the taxi sign there. You can see when you open the hood, the details on the front, on the engine is there. I haven't checked the other cars for it, but and you can see the police car do have that radio inside. Same goes for the taxi. And like I mentioned, the materials on most of these packs, on almost all of it, because they are using similar master material, are very, very customizable. An example would be this the police car. And you can see this one have 6 materials, the van have 6. As for the police, I think it has 7. Yep, has 7 materials. It's a shame that it is not less, but for the quality and the interiors, it is understandable. You got some tint mask there beside the emissive. So if you go into the setting for this material and change the color, you can see the top part change to black. On the sides as well. As for the front, I think it's a different material. But you can see it has many different values that you can change, which is really nice, very customizable, as I mentioned a couple of times before. I mean, I would have personally paid 25 for all of the vehicle volumes alone, not to mention the other props that you would get with this bundle. And finally, we found it. It's the front. Yeah, I didn't change the materials for the side, but you should get what I mean. And that's not all. For the siren, it can actually blink. Let's check the materials on the separated siren here. I know it's technically not siren, but light bar. Change the emissiveness, and there is an option here. What was it called? Ah, yes, emissive blinking. So when you add it, you can see both sides blink. They do blink at the same time, which is unfortunate. I thought there was other options. I thought it would like make an interval or delay between the right and left, but it didn't do much. But there is an option to speed it up or slow it down. And the other material slot is for this part here, or for the glass part. Kind of tint the entire part, which is not that desirable. You would typically want both side control, and also change the opacity. This is volume 3, same with the previous one. These are low poly meshes only. And I really like this red sports car here. The other ones are also very nice. To be honest, the retro volume or the retro vehicles, they all are excellent in my opinion. And because these are low polys, the needles are only texture and not geometry. Radio placement is different from the one of the police car in the previous pack. Something is wrong with this light bar. I don't know. Actually, I haven't looked into the material for it. You can see the front lights are already activated and the back lights for the others. This volume 6 hitches and trailers. For this one, it does contain the nanite meshes. As the left should be the low poly and the right should be the nanite. Though there are differences for sure, but unless you look very closely, it's not that apparent. I mean, the easiest way is to look at the tires, differentiate. That's like the simplest one that gives it away. Probably if you change the material to double-sided, the interior of the caravan should be better visualized. These are the trailers. It's the interior, the other version has the door separated. This is volume 5. See tractors. You could probably attach the trailer from the previous pack to this one. I haven't tried it, but should be doable. Cute. Yeah, you can see that it's low poly, but still looks very good. Tractor looks decent. The glass uses opacity. I think because it uses nanite by default. I'm not sure, but that's pretty much an opacity or dithering effect on it. Yeah, this bus have many versions. One is like destroyed. Let's take a quick tour here. Everything seems fine. The doors are there, so you can attach them to the back, and normal door there, along with the wheels. This is volume 7. You can see the glass here is also opacity, or has dithering effect. I'm not sure. It's most likely just opaque with opacity dithering effect. But yeah, interior here, there's something wrong. It's textured in base color, but there is something wrong here. I don't know if it's a material that can be fixed in the material settings, material parameters. But that's like an issue happens for this one as well. I think it's an opacity issue. I may have to look into it. If I use it or if I plan to use it. These are really nice. The minivan or minibus. Volume 16 bedrooms. This is supposed to be the nanite version. You can see detail here. Very nice. There are matrices here in the front. Bed for children, toddlers. Nice. Looking at the low poly versions here. Details are still nice. Strange. Does it have the same poly count as the high poly? I actually don't know. But I think it's like there are details where detail is needed. Yeah, this is kind of low poly. You can see that from the sphere at the top. For these ones, yeah, I guess geometrical detail are required for those. Next is Suburbs Volume 19, Retro Office. These are the nanite. I shouldn't be saying that anymore, but the front is always nanite. You can see this trash can is fully geometrical, no opacity. And we will see the low poly version and compare them. As for the table, I don't know why some of the drawers are not separated. I mean, the drawers here are provided, but not all of it. Details are nice, texturing is great as usual, and to be honest, texturing is great for all of the assets. You can see the wear and tear, but is it texture or it's it's only a fake effect, not true geometrical wear. And the low poly versions Let's compare the trash can if you can find them, and you can see that the color is different because of different material or customization. Yeah, these are trash can. You can see that this is how it looks. It's low poly. Use opacity to make that effect. However, for the 9 version, you don't have to make that compromise. We just make it geometrical. Looking at the antennas, nice wear on them. Rust as well. Makes sense. I don't are yeah, these are geometrical. They're so thin. That's nice. Let's compare it to the low poly. Yep. Same story as the previous pack. The low poly, or should be for all of it. Low poly uses opacity, and nanite uses geometry. Volume 15 bathroom. Oh, I misclick. Let's get out. Okay. Faucet is not so high detailed, but this one is nice. Very nice. Mesh-wise, of course. Mirrors. Bathtubs. Seems like opacity to me, the dithering effect. Yeah, these are opacity. Bathroom stalls. Volume 3 retro furnitures. Looks great. I love antique style stuff. Be it furniture, especially furnitures. You can see like some wetness here. Pay attention, you can see the reflectiveness of it. I love these styled chairs. Forgot what they're called. Cradles. Seems nice. An antique clock. Yep, the needles are geometry. However, there is no glass or opacity here, right? Seems like it. Oh, the inside is empty, but it should be fixed if you make the material double-sided. The inside should be visible of the closet. And for any of these. Oh, and is it the same clock or another one? I think it looks the same. But this one did have glass, or it's just opacity there. This is volume 4 furniture. Nice. I really like the wear of these. It's so believable. They look so realistic. They did a great job on the texturing. Still, the inside is not visible. Yeah, that's a shame that the different functional parts are not separated like the drawers. That would be downside of some of these packs. Volume 6, outdoor and yard. Some welcoming signs. Oh, deflated basketball. Some grilling equipments. Gnomes and, yep, grill with the propane gas below. Makes sense because these are retro style. Window decor. These are, I've noticed, you can use these, all of the props in this pack to make, to fill a house with really high quality props. Then we have attachments. Functional parts, sadly not separated. But probably is possible, even through the modeling tools inside UE, should be possible. Especially for the high poly ones, probably the buttons are like fully modeled, so it would be easier to separate. There are mail boxes. This is the opened version. So you probably can separate them to functional parts if you want interactive experience, that is. Some numbers here. Modular pipes and gutters. There's also a showcase level where it showcases how they're being used. I'll show that as well. This is nanite, but you can see the vertices there. I wish it was more, it had more vertices. Edgewares are great. It's the level I was talking about. It's for the gutter. Toys. Nice. Wall decors. Image in the frames. One thing I'm curious about is, can we change the image displayed there? I know these are textures, but oh, they're grouped. Let's ungroup them first. Groups and ungroup. Now select any other one. Yep. Let's look. Oh, it's only have one material. I hope it have. Oh no, it's not separated. On one side, it's good that these are combined. It would save throw calls for nanite. However, on the downside, you are stuck with these images. Some laundry here, clothes. These that you hang the clothes on for them to dry. Hangers, baskets. Some are closed, some are open with clothes and some laundry machines. These are old. This is for drying. I kind of remember these. Oh man, I'm getting old. When you remember these, it means you're not young anymore. I believe this is lighting for interior volume 1. Looks good. Some fans, some ceiling fans here. Edgeware is great as well as usual. And should be customizable as well. Let's look. We'll choose this as our guinea pig. Yes, it does have emissive masks, so it should be very customizable. Changing the color. That's for the albedo and this for the emissive. See how it changes with it. And change it for the other one because they're using the same material instance to be more precise. Change the power here. The Fresnel effect as well. This will be more visible if you look at the light bulbs. If you focus on it. This should be volume 2. Lamps. Very good quality. Shame that translucency is not supported in nanite or oh wow, that's a lot of vertices. Oh yeah, the light bulbs would look much better if translucency were to be supported. However, even on the low poly, it doesn't use translucency, I believe. I think it's to do with reduced throw calls. There should be industrial lights. Not bad. Next is the police headquarters. I think it's the only complete pack or like a scene pack in this bundle. It is a separate project, if I remember correctly, and I just copied it into my project. For Lumen, it doesn't look right lightning wise, so let's look at the post process. Look for exposure compensation. Make it the default value. Yep, much better, much more visible. I think there are particles floating around. There's also another pack that contains electronics like computers. I doubt I'll be able to show that. So the exteriors, that goes till here. As for the basement, it finishes here. Nice scene overall. Can be combined with the retro office props as well. We have rural props. Some of these props, I think they're only low poly, like the shed here and a couple of props. The other ones I think have low poly and high poly versions. Yeah, these are, I think, high poly versions or the 9.8 version. Kayak, some children toys, statue of. I don't want to get the name wrong, but isn't that one of the Russian leaders? Previous Russian leader? Okay. Water tank. Yep. These are the nanite. This should be small structures volume 1. These are low poly. Separated doors are provided. It's nice. You can fill it with different props and whatnot. Nice tile sheds. These are very good quality. This is volume 2. Still, even though it does say and it is low poly, it is high quality. Not fully modular, as we saw. Like some have doors provided as separated static mesh, but they are not modular in nature, like the walls being separated or the roof. Which, to be honest, for something like this, wouldn't be needed that much, even if they were modular. This is suburbs houses. These are low poly, just exterior. Good quality, even though there are not much vertices. I mean, they're considered that it's a complete home. There are lots of vertices, but still considered low poly for what it is. Rugs. These are the nanite. I cannot tell the difference that much, especially maybe for the bumps there. Doesn't seem to be using parallax occlusion, especially on the low poly. Yeah. Oh, there seems to be a nanite mesh, an imposter being put in there by mistake. Let's look. Yeah, it's just a rug made its way into the low poly section. Nanite rug. And these should be customizable. I'm interested about the customization. Yes, there is the tint mask. So you can have fun customizing it to your liking. Now looking at the high poly. Oh, why does this take so much time to update the texture resource? Look at this one. Yep, the corners are indeed geometry. There doesn't seem to be an albedo mask. Strange. A tint mask. It's not. So let's type the name. This one doesn't seem to be having an albedo mask for some reason. Maybe if you look at the other ones. Normal maps, yeah. Yeah, unfortunately this doesn't seem to have albedo mask. Let's look at the nanite counterpart of the the one that we showed in the low poly section. After this finishes updating. Yep, this one. And yes, it does seem to be having it. I didn't look at all the settings to see if there is parallax occlusion, but by default it's not on. This should be an interior decor pack. That's what it should be called, or it is called. Volume 12, I think. Nice, these should go well with Victorian environments. Blocks, the needles are geometry. I don't know if they can be animated through material. I haven't looked at that. But since they're geometry, you can rig it or animate the static mesh using vertex color. That would be the easiest way to do it. These plants seems to be geometry. Not bad. However, texturing I think on these larger leaves are much better. Next is another furniture pack. I think this one is volume 14. Overall nice. Oh, but yeah, the drawer isn't geometry, unfortunately. Which is a shame. I think it's the main downside of these props. Other than that, they are, I would say, almost or is immaculate. Very well done. For some reason, yeah, this looks like opacity. Should be same thing, right? Yep, is opacity. These are modular cabinets. Another dithering effect, so the glass is using opacity, not true translucency. Another version. Here's another different type of wood. And another one. It's nice to have different variations. It adds a lot of options to choose from. Once again, the ones on the front are nanite and the ones behind are low poly. I mean, it's supposed to be high poly, the nanite version, but it's just okayish poly, I would say. Should be a bit more, but that's what it is. Next is volume 20, vending and service. These include vending machines and similar tools or machines. Looking at the wireframes, we can see that there are pulleys in the right places, vertices, springs. I'm interested in this vending machine because I actually modeled one in Unreal using geometry script. And it's kind of similar to the one I built actually. Anyways, I digress. And you got what's supposed to be a coffee vending machine, others to refuel, some telephone stands. I don't know what that's supposed to be. An arcade machine, which is also interesting. I also modeled something using the modeling tools inside UE. Some toys that you would find. Yep, ice machine, I guess, or just storage for it. Up next is Volume 2 couches and sofas. These are dense. They do look good. It seems some laminate and poster meshes made their way to the back line. Once again, these are good to fill up a scene or to add variations. This is supposed to be Volume 5 around the house. Those props, fans, telephones, although I've seen phones in other packs as well. Small variation. We got vacuum cleaner, uh, two versions of it. Fan is nice. Some of the fans, sewing machine. Some of the fans do have the fan separated. As for this one, should be Volume 7 Retro Kitchen. Knives, some spatulas and cups, and usual tools you'll find, or dining wares you would find in almost any kitchen. Forks, knives, spoons, fruits, although some of it have been, seems to be really old, have been infected by fungus. I believe that's a toaster, racks, pots, blender, and other kitchen stuff. This is volume 8, retro decor. Some frames or things you would find around the house, I would say, for decoration. Some mirrors as well in the back. I wish these were, especially the translucent parts, to have really made the difference. If Nanite supported it, these two especially. Volume 9 kitchen appliances. Got oven and the color and the timer is blinking there. It's just at 12. Got the doors separated, and I think there are a couple of versions of them. Some using handle like this is a microwave. Some kitchen sink, coffee machine, stove, dishwashers, and fridge. Let's see inside. Yeah, it is, although I haven't made the material double-sided. To check the inside, this stove plus cooker. Different kind of fridge. Unfortunately, the inside is nowhere to be found. Next is volume 10 fireplaces, which includes the fireplaces itself and the tools you'd normally find alongside with them. Oh, old styled ones you would find in the woods. Wood, the wood itself. And different styles. One uh, with the curtains open and closed. Nice addition. Yes, next is Knick. Some props here and there. Oh, a bell. Some toys and figurines. This should be volume fences volume 3 mod town modular, so you'd find these fences in the town. These are also modular. The high poly version you can see especially on these steel fences. These are geometry and not opacity mask. Some stone walls. And these fences in the back, some of them with half concrete, that one is with the door. In comparison to the low poly version, you can see these are using opacity mask. This one should be volume 2 of the fences for both farm and town. Once again, these are geometry. You see the barbed wires here. On the nanite version, you can see the comparison to the low poly. And lastly, this is trash, literally. Nice high quality assets here. And this should be it for the video. I haven't showcased everything. Few of them I've showcased in previous bundles, like some of the doors. This is a pack I would definitely recommend. Contains both nanite and low poly, at least for most of the packs. Texturing is amazing. The metal customizability is there, so I don't see any point for not getting this pack. And if you need interactivity, you could probably rig most of it, most of the assets, like the vehicles, for example, especially. So that should be it. It is a long video, but there are lots of props to showcase.